Hi there, Vanessa here. Hey, I wanted to make a quick screencast. I've been getting lots of questions about Canvas, which is awesome. I thought that maybe this video would be a quick and easy way to show you all kind of the custom things that I did on my page. And if you have questions, you can come and watch the video over and over as many times as you need to, but please still continue to reach out to me. I'm super glad and thankful to help all of you. Okay, so I'm gonna click here on my Canvas course. And it's kind of going to open up in this editor side. I'm just going to go through and show you my page. I tried to make it very colorful because I knew my second graders would really appreciate that. I got a banner here from a site on Google Chrome, and if that's something that you're interested in and you're not sure where to find one of those and make them, I'm super happy to help you with that. It was very fast and easy, and I just inserted it just like an image. Here I have my contact information, the ways that I want my families to contact me, and then this is the spot for my welcome video. I haven't obviously made my welcome video yet. That's on my to-do list for today, but I'm going to put that there, and then my students can reference it anytime that they want. Now you'll see I use lots of Bitmojis on my site. If you're not sure what a Bitmoji is, it's a great way for us to kind of personalize and show our students our face without us actually being there. So Bitmoji is an app that you would get on your phone, and then you can kind of add it here as a Google Chrome extension, and it's really easy for me to put those into any Google accounts and like Gmails that I have, and then for me to put it in my Canvas site, I would just find the one that I wanted, and I would right click, I would save image as, and then I would just insert that as an image here onto my Canvas course homepage. So I use lots of Bitmojis. It took me about 5 minutes to set up, and it's been a super kind of fun thing. I think my students will really enjoy. Now the next thing that I have is my expectation. So most of my grades are going to be based on participation, and so I went ahead and made a rubric for my students so that they can very clearly see, and their parents as well, what I'm expecting and kind of what they need to do to meet my expectations. And so for a 3, I'm expecting my students to check in with me 3 days per week. Next, I've kind of arranged my course homepage in 3 steps. So the first thing I want my students to do is here by number 1, they're going to click on the day of the week below, and they're going to do the videos and activities. So I'm just going to show you Monday. So they'll click on this and it'll take them to a new page. Now my students won't see all of this. I have all of this hidden for them. The only option they will have is the home button. But when they click on Monday, it'll come here. I've arranged it by subjects and activities. So my biggest focus is for my students to check in with me, and so I've given them all of these options. My chatboard link here is linked to a chatboard that I've created for my students to use to ask me questions and to talk to their classmates. So they can click on that and it'll take them right there. I'm going to click the back button. My students will navigate around by just clicking back to home, or they can click the back button as well. I have set up some Zoom times that I'm going to be on each day, and my students can come in and check in with me. So I've kind of linked those. When my students click on this link, it will open Zoom in a new tab. Now, if my students don't have Zoom on their personal device, when they click on this link, then it will prompt them to download Zoom. So that's a really easy way for my students to get Zoom if they don't already have it. Now on all my Chromebooks, it works super great. My students didn't need to sign into Zoom or anything. They just needed to type their name, and it was very user-friendly before I sent those home. So that was awesome to see. Here I have my literacy. I still am in the process of making my videos for my days, but I will post the Monday video here, and that's pretty much my check-in video for them each day. So each day I'm going to post a literacy video where I'll be reading a chapter from our book study, and they can kind of check in with me there. I'll also be talking about what we're doing for math, and then what our art and our healthy habits and our PE and music will look like for the day. I'll just do a quick snippet of those, but that's what I have. So originally I had my homepage set up where I had a big table, and I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I had all the subjects, so it was all there on the homepage. Now one thing I noticed is that my videos were too small. So when I had my videos in that big table, they were too small, because when my students click on my video, it starts playing right here. It does not take them to an external site. Hey, so I realized that my videos need to at least be 200 by 200, and I was not able to make them that size in the original table that I had. That's why I went to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday pages. So I was able to make my video here. This is 300 by 300. I think this is a really great size for them to be able to watch it here, or they have this full screen option. Now, when my videos were smaller than 200 by 200, this full screen option did not show up. They could like hover over the edge and it would say, make make full screen kind of like that does, but this square did not show up. And so I'm going to train my students to click on the square, watch the video in full screen, and then come back to this page by closing that video or pushing escape from full screen. So that's something that's really super important. If you're not sure how to make your videos bigger and you already have them, that's here in your editor. I'll show you really fast. You go up here I'll open up my editor, and then here in my HTML editor, I'm going to click to go over to the code side. This is the only way that I found to do this, and I think the easiest way. So then I'm going to kind of scroll up here. I'm going to find my YouTube links. I know those are all YouTube videos, so here's my link. And then right after the link, here's the size. So I have mine 300 by 300. Remember, they must be 200 by 200 or larger for students to see the option to make them full screen. So that was something that I kind of learned a little bit late in the ball game, and I had to change my page around a lot, but I'm really happy with how it's organized and how easy it will be for my students to navigate now. So there's my math, there's my art, and my healthy habits video. And then I have on my homepage directions for my students to get to Miss Simonson's music and PE page. So that was task number 1. Now they come down here and it says click here to go to task number 2 on our homepage. I have to say cancel and get out of my editor to show you guys this feature. Okay, I'm going to go back down to the bottom, and then I've just linked that class homepage to to these words here, so they just have to click right there, and then they're back here. So there was my days of the week. All of them kind of have their own table, and they're set up with similar colors just like that, just to make it kind of consistent for my students. Now they'll go down here to number 2, and I'm asking them to choose 2 of these additional resources to use each day. Okay, now I've linked the resource to each login page, so my students can just click on this picture and go directly to the login page. And then I also tried to include how my students can log in. So they click on Prodigy, takes them right to the Prodigy page. And then one thing I'm going to teach my students to do in that welcome video is after you go to one of these links, you need to come up here and click the X to close the tab, or you need to come over here and click back on our Chapman Canvas homepage. That's going to be the best way for them to kind of navigate. Now you saw that my Prodigy opened up here in a new tab. Okay, that was something I had to go in and tell my page to do. So I'll show you how to do that really quickly. And then if you have more questions, please feel free to come back. So I'm going into my editor side. And then the way that I tell my Canvas homepage to open that in a new tab is I have to come back in here to the coding side. Okay, now those extra resources are about in the middle of my page. So I'm going to scroll up to the middle of my page, and then I'm just going to look through this code for something that says, come back to the middle, for one of my YouTube links or one of my, since those aren't YouTube videos, they are external links. So I'm just going to kind of look for those. Oh, there's my Get Epic link. You can see here, this is the one that I copy and pasted. Okay, now I had to type this after it. I had to type target equals quotation underscore blank quotation. So right after that link and the end quotation marks, I had to type in this phrase for each of those links to get it to open up in an external page. That's the only way that I found we're able to do this, and I kind of asked Michelle Thomason a little bit, and she said that that was the best way to do that. So remember this page, target equals quotations underscore blank quotations, and type that in or copy and paste it after each of those links that you've linked so that those open up in a new tab, not that same tab. Otherwise, our students, after they're done in that site, they'll have to go back to KPBSD and back into Canvas, and it's just kind of a roundabout way for them to get lost really easy. Okay, so I have all those resources. I also posted how my students log in, and hopefully that will be pretty easy for them. If they have any questions, they can check in with me, and I'm happy to show them again, but I am going to show them on my welcome video how to do all of that. Okay, and then my third task for my students is go to their dashboard and click on Mrs. Simonson's music and PE page. So that was the only way that I knew for my students to get to her course, but I think this is pretty explicit and my students will be able to follow. Okay, I also gave my students an opportunity to post to that discussion board that I showed you from Monday here. From this link, that's the kind of the discussion board I'm going to use for them to interact with me and each other, and ask questions, whatever they want. There is a help discussion board here, so if my parents or students click on here, they're taken to a separate discussion board that is just for questions and for me to give them help. So they can go and click on that. I'll click back to go back to my home page. And then the last thing that I've included on my page is a link to the s'more newsletter that I made. It's not as much of a newsletter as it is just kind of laying out our distance education plan. So it has my expectations, gives the families a little bit more information, and so it looks not as user-friendly right now because I am logged into s'more. But when my parents click on there, they're just going to see this pretty background and this newsletter, none of this other stuff on the side. But you can see that I've just kind of given a little bit of an explanation about what we're doing here and what my intent is for this instruction. I got some of that verbiage from the email one of the emails that Josh sent out yesterday, and that external link for the grading for remote learning. There was some really good verbiage in there that I thought I needed to share with my families just on what kind of I'm being expected to do and kind of what they can expect. I gave my students or my parents some quick instructions on how to get to our Canvas site, and then I'm also going to post a screencast in here. I just did Cosmic Kids because I wanted to see how it looked, but I will do a screencast for them, just kind of going from desktop to Canvas and exactly kind of how they can navigate it. And then I gave some more explicit instructions about my expectations, and then I also posted that rubric here for parents to see and refer back to, and then I have my contact information here. So I've made one of these more newsletters for my distance education plan with my students who have internet, and also with my students who don't have internet. And so this is just kind of be a quick and easy way. I can click this, grab the link, and then I can text that to my families, and they'll be able to come here from their phones or their devices and get all this information from me, so I'm not having to kind of type it all up on something separate. I can include this link in my emails, so I'm primarily communicating with my families through text and email, and so that's a really easy way for me to include this link, and they can all come to this document and see the same things. Now again, I'm going to click back to my home page, and that is my page in a nutshell. I'll show you really quick how I added color, because I think it's a really fast and easy way to add some customization to our page. So I'm going to come back up here, and I need to go into my editor, and then I'll come down to my tables. Okay, and then here's my first table. So if I wanted to make this whole table all the way Monday through Friday a color, I would come here to table and table properties. And then here in the advanced section, here I can put the border color and I can put the background color. So Canvas has some preloaded colors into it, blue, orange, yellow, red, green, but they're very dark colors, and I wanted some more custom colors. So you can see that there is this weird number that is actually an HTML code for a color. So the way I found that is I came up to a new tab and I Googled HTML color codes. And then the site that I liked the best was this HTML color codes, html-color-codes.info. And then here I can click any color I would like. Oh, I think this is a pretty pink. Come down here, I copy that number, and then I come back over here to my home page, and then I paste that number right in there. I say okay, I'm clicking cancel because I'm not changing my colors, and that whole table would change. Now if I just wanted this Monday, I would come up here, and instead of going to table properties, I'm going to go down to cell and then cell properties. So I would just be changing that Monday cell, and I would put the color in here. Since I changed the whole table to be the same color, I don't have to do it's not showing up here in the cell because the whole table is the same color. But if I just wanted that one cell for Monday to be the same color, I can do it that way. I can also do Monday and Tuesday. So if I highlight those two, okay, then I come up here to cell, okay, and then back to cell properties. My highlight didn't quite work. But the way that you check and see if you have more than one cell is when I come to cell, there should be this merge cells option because I have more than one, and then back into advanced, and then I could post my colors there, my border colors. So I just try to add a lot of color to make my page really fun and exciting for my students to see and for them to navigate. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions you have. I'm happy to explain it to you again. I'm happy to walk you through in a Zoom meeting, through any custom things that you want to do. Please reach out and use me as a resource. Thank you. Have a great Sunday.